Hello, and welcome to CCN, Coastal Conservative News. We are your home for local and national news that impacts us here in the free state of Florida. I'm Allie Leger. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's begin this week with Katie for CCN's Week in Review.
I'm Katie with CCN's Week in Review. In Sarasota, a disputed high-rise project is hitting its brakes. On Tuesday, Sarasota City Commissioners held a meeting to discuss the proposed Obsidian Tower downtown. The plan called for a 327-foot structure. This would make it the tallest building in Sarasota if approved. While developers stayed within legal limits, they stretched the design by adding high ceilings and more space between floors, effectively pushing the building's overall height far beyond a typical standard for a 14-unit condo. Dozens of residents showed up to voice their concerns, and their voices were heard. A 4-1 vote, commissioners rejected the proposal. That means the developer will need to head back to the drawing board. Also, a major housing development in Sarasota County is facing growing opposition, not just from residents, but now from a U.S. congressman. The Sarasota County Commission voted 4-1 this week to rezone 550 acres of rural land between University Parkway and Fruitvale Road. Congressman Greg Steube is speaking out, urging the public to take action. Quote, "All of these commissioners are elected by the people," Steube said. "If you're as frustrated as I am, I encourage folks watching to reach out to their county commissioners," end quote. Some commissioners argue their hands were tied by decisions made by previous boards, but Steube says that's no excuse. However, not everyone sees this project as a problem. Commissioner Teresa Mast expressed her strong support, saying the development could bring national attention. Quote, "People I know across the country will see this out because of the historic credibility of Lakewood Ranch," end quote. I'm sorry, but people across the country will see this area out? I think everyone can agree. That's the last thing we need here. Remember the folks in Oakford, Laurel Meadows, and the 75 being completely underwater after Hurricane Debby, while the builders line their pockets with money? Hey, Sarasota County Commissioners, what happened to the 2050 plan? A plan to balance economic growth with environmental preservation. Is building 4 homes on 1 acre financially responsible? Because to me, it sounds like the growth today will lead to financial crisis tomorrow, especially with hurricane season right around the corner. In Minneapolis, a father is demanding answers after his 3rd grade son was exposed to graphic sexual content during class on a teacher's personal device. Levi Chapman says his son forgot his school laptop, so the teacher at Los Estrellas Elementary School loaned him an iPad. That's when the boy says him and another student accidentally opened a tab showing, quote, "a bunch of naked men lying on top of each other," end quote. Chapman says the teacher got upset, took the device, and accused the child of violating his privacy. The father showed up to the school board meeting on May 13th to voice his concerns. Have a listen.
My son 2 weeks ago was exposed to a group of, let's say, gay men having sex on the iPad. And how my son came about it was he forgot his laptop at home, and your teacher lent my son his personal iPad. Well, when my son was doing a project with some of the other kids in the classroom, all of a sudden they closed out a tab. There was a bunch of naked men sitting right there in front of my son. And then all the other kids that had seen this, hey, they were shocked. But what's crazy is that I haven't heard nothing since. I didn't get a response from our superintendent. I had a meeting with your guys' assistant superintendent, your guys' assistant principal, but nobody had the decency to make my son important enough to show up to that meeting in the morning to tell me why he was able to be exposed to this type of material. Like, you guys will tell us if a student gets lice, if a student gets COVID, if he gets the flu, but you guys will not tell all the parents in the classroom that their kids were exposed to sexual, explicit material. And I think that's weird. It's weird. Because how can you send out a text message about all these other things, but you can't tell parents that their kids were exposed to this? Now, my son, one of 6 kids.
Please finish your comment.
My son, one of 6 kids, was the only one to speak up about this and the only one to make it known. So now I ask y'all, what are y'all planning to do about this? How are y'all gonna protect these children and hide this material from them? Because it's everywhere in this world right now, especially here. You guys gotta protect these kids. And if y'all, as parents, students, and everything.
Thank you for your time, sir.
If you guys wanna see a difference,
Please finish.
start looking at their paychecks. Y'all want change? Look at their paychecks. That's how you guys are gonna make.
Thank you for your comment. Treasurer Thorson.
The teacher is now on leave, and the district says it is investigating, but due to privacy laws, they are not sharing any further details. Remember the famous quote that sparked riots in cities were burnt down? I can't breathe. A growing number of conservatives say it's time to take a hard look at the case against Derek Chauvin. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is calling former President Trump to pardon Chauvin, the ex-officer convicted in the death of George Floyd. Greene says the public was fed a narrative, not the full truth, and that Chauvin never stood a fair chance in a courtroom flooded with political pressure and fake media. She points to evidence from Floyd's autopsy, suggesting the fentanyl and methamphetamine may have played a major role in his death, a fact some believe was quickly buried to convict. Greene says a pardon would be a powerful stand against what she called mob-driven justice, an illegal system that caved to public outrage. This fight isn't just about one man. It's about restoring trust in our justice system. That's it for CCN's Week in Review. Thanks for watching. Back to Allie and Michelle.
Guys, welcome back to CCN. Thank you, Katie, for that reporting. Now here is Raj Dorsami with our Suncoast Community segment.
Hi, this is Raj Dorsami with CCN, and you're literally not going to believe what we're going to talk about today, because what we're going to talk about today is not necessarily about elections or health freedom. It's something even more fundamental than that. We have Americans living here in the red state of Florida, and their ability and their opportunity to enjoy their home is being violated by a foreign corporation. So Eric Johnson, I don't know if I got that right, but that's what I think I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. Tell the people what's happening.
Yeah, so I think the easiest thing for people to compare it to is Reedy Creek in Orlando with Disney World that DeSantis went to. They got more and more and more power, and then that power started to expand. In this situation, you literally have a foreign company that is getting the same kind of privileges there, and they're leveraging it for their own benefits. So districts were designed to help, communities grow, like basically the residents pay for the growth themselves. What's happening here is they're leveraging their authority for the bill itself that we're talking about, that dilutes the voters' rights of the residents that live in the district. And then, as the district builds, they strap them with these fees that are going to pay this corporation literally for a century. I mean, they'll be lucky to be there for 15 years, even building the entire community. But this bill and their authority literally will pay them for the next century for it. And it's just gotten out of hand.
So, we don't fault a company for building homes for profit. We don't fault a company for trying to be successful. But wait a minute. Do those houses even last a century? So it seems to me, and I'm not a legal guy, it seems to me that this company is not even being reasonable. It seems to me, what I'm hearing, is this is almost like gouging. but I don't know if I'm overreacting.
It is. It is. Gouging is a good word because what happens is residents aren't even aware of the stuff that's going on in the background until it's turned over to the residents. And at that point, it's just too late. So districts were designed to pay for the growth from the residents that are there. And in this case, they're using that authority to build long-term profits when they're long gone. So this foreign corporation builds a community, leaves, and then we pay it all money with nothing in return for the next century. And to me, it's Reedy Creek at a whole nother level.
At the local level, right here in Florida. And with Reedy Creek, there's an American company.
Exactly.
There's DeSantis taking on Disney. This is a foreign company. Now, have you guys as homeowners tried to express your concerns? What has that been received? What's that looking like?
Oh, many times. The one thing is, like, their meetings are open to the public, but they do not record public comment. So if you go in, like, the entire meeting, there's 5 board members. 4 of them are the employees of the corporation, and they make all the decisions for the district. And when you go to the meetings themselves, public comment is not recorded. So when you look back at these meetings, it's all, the narrative is completely driven by them. So there's no way, and we've asked for help. I mean, we've been trying to get anybody and everybody to listen to us, that this is a growing problem. And if it's happening here, we're going to be the template for many more communities throughout the state. And somebody needs to just get in there, help us. I mean, I would love to see DeSantis involved. I'm shocked he's not.
In fact, speaking of the governor, and you can see, folks, some footage of the citizens in that community actually trying to get the word out that was filmed on location there. But speaking of the governor, you had mentioned a bill that requires public participation.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So right now there's a bill that's critical for us to stop. It's HB 4061. It was gone through the Senate. It's gone through the House. It is literally sitting on DeSantis's desk for him to sign off on. And he's our last shot to get this vetoed. And it just went by too fast for people to understand the consequences behind it. And those consequences directly affect the people that are paying to those bonds to this in this district that they live in, and they're just not aware of it. And we just need help. We need people to get in touch with the governor. We need people to beg him to veto this bill and just stop it. It's just wrong.
So there you have it, my friends. Very interesting. And the reason we want to have Eric, who's representing his community here, is this is not an isolated incident. This is not an isolated incident. This is not just happening in Florida. So I hope this makes sense to the folks that are watching this here. Now, we have just a few more minutes. I also heard something about water supply. I don't know if you want to get into that.
That was kind of the turning point in the whole thing, because there was a court order. One of the neighborhoods there was in a lawsuit with them. And the judge in that lawsuit said himself that agreement was palpably obscene. Literally, the judge himself called it that. This started in 2022. And then there was a court order that the irrigation water was to stay on while this case went on. Well, the district ended up maneuvering around it and figured out a way that they could still shut off the irrigation and use it as leverage to get the community to drop a lawsuit that they had for them. So that's what really sparked everything. At that point, it's not just a matter of, causing us more money and debt in the long run. It's a matter of leveraging the authority and literally punishing the people that are questioning them in our own courts. I mean, that's, it's
incredible. It's quite incredible. So again, if you are looking at this and listening to this and think that this is not correct, if you think it's correct, well, that's your prerogative. If you think it's not correct, then Eric is requesting you to contact the governor's office. And Eric, just share the name of the number of that bill again.
Yeah, so HB 4061, and we literally need people to do it today. We are down to days to get this vetoed, and we need people to do it today. HB 4061. Please help us.
And that's the community segment update. Back to you, Michelle and Ali.
Thank you, Raj, for that report. Next up is our political pulse segment right here on CCN.
Welcome back to CCN. You know the frustration, Allie, of trying to expose something to the public, maybe to shed light on a known evil, only to be told that it's not true, it's not really happening, or better yet, being told that somehow you are a conspiracy theorist?
Yeah, like, narcissistic behavior, gaslighting, that
absolutely,
kind of thing.
Absolutely. It happens in politics, too. Well, Allie, here is a big old I told you so. You guys will love this. Allie and I have long been shouting from the rooftops that there has been inappropriate materials accessible to our young students in the form of library materials and classroom materials. We've been saying this for a while. I'm talking about pornographic novels, pornographic pictures, and sexually seductive material paid for by you, the taxpayer, and delivered straight into the hands of our young, impressionable students through our public school system. Thank you to our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, and our new Office of Parental Rights. AG Uthmeyer demanded that the Hillsborough County School Board remove overtly sexual content from their classrooms and libraries, Allie.
Wow. The Attorney General even went as far as to give examples of the pornographic literature. Titles like What Girls Are Made Of and Beautiful by Amy Reed, in which a sex scene between teenagers is depicted explicitly. Yes, your tax dollars are hard at work promoting smut in our schools. Thanks to the Attorney General, we hope that Florida finally has a strong advocate who will sincerely move the needle in defense of the innocence of our students. Keep it here on Coastal Conservative News for updates as this story progresses, and hopefully Hillsborough County will acquiesce to the demands of our Attorney General.
Absolutely.
Now, this also brings us to our next story that's pretty related, where you were aware that a judge, not just any judge, but a Clinton-appointed judge, has ruled to permit a sexually explicit drag show near a child's playground of all places. Erica Donalds, wife of Congressman Byron Donalds, who is a fan favorite here in Florida.
That's right.
Went to X and posted stating, quote, "There's no such thing as a family-friendly drag show." And she is not lying.
Right.
Along with her public comments at the Naples City Council, where she praised them for doing the right thing. They sued this drag show.
Absolutely.
She also mentioned that she couldn't imagine her own children losing their innocence because of something happening in public in our community. She talks about the Naples cityscape being pictured behind her every time she's on television, and she states that Naples is the perfect place to raise your children. Yeah. She further explains that it would be a shame for people to look up Naples, a city she is so proud of, and see that there are sexually explicit drag shows for children occurring in our wonderful community. She further expressed how these shows cannot happen anywhere in America, let alone Florida.
Right.
We must protect the innocence of our children.
That's so true. And listen, when we talk about these drag shows, we obviously don't care what adults do in their own free time behind closed doors, but the fact that you have to do it in front of a children's playground tells me that you're coming for our children, and moms like us will always stand in the gap. Besides, guys, Florida Statute 827.11 explicitly says, for those that can read, drag shows around minors is illegal. So what's happened here is the City Council in Naples has chosen to rule that way. We have a Clinton judge trying to legislate from the bench and overturn that. There is a petition, however, that you can sign as a concerned citizens to protect the innocence of children. Make sure you go to www.dishing.politics.org.
That's right. Now, Speaker Perez of the Florida House makes remarks and blames the Senate for the extension of this legislative session to pass a formidable budget. The budget may be delayed past the set date of June 6th, which Perez says is due to the Senate's recent behavior.
If the Senate's plan is to wait us out, then they will find us unmoved. We will not be intimidated. We will not be bullied.
You do understand that both the Senate and the House are Republican majorities as well as the governorship. So why are we having a pissing contest in Tallahassee? You should be reaching out to your state legislators on
Absolutely.
this. This is the one thing that constitutionally they're supposed to do, and that's balance the budget. They need to get this done. Now, Florida's fiscal new year begins July 1st. There must be an exerted effort for Speaker Perez to negotiate and coordinate with the Senate for the benefit of the people of Florida. He has blocked actual structural tax reform and refuses to give rebates or tax cuts. Florida has a massive surplus, you guys, so there is no reason for these massive tax hikes here in Florida.
Absolutely. And the House also invited Governor Ron DeSantis to present his property tax proposals to the unelected committee established by Speaker Perez to discuss the property tax debacle. Governor DeSantis publicly declined, stating, quote, "No, I'm not going to sit in front of a committee. That's not the role of the chief executive." He then turns the table back onto the House, stating, quote, "It's interesting because remember when I called the special session for immigration, the response was, oh, we in the House legislate. The governor doesn't legislate. Now they're saying it's the governor's responsibility. Pick one," end quote.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. A little feisty DeSantis. One thing we can say about Florida is that our immigration plan is going so well that President Trump is going to be utilizing our blueprint in other states to assist with internal illegal immigration deportation. Now, our safety czar, Larry Keefe, said, and I am quoting, "Within the next 60 days, the techniques and the methods will be standard for our brother and sister states, and they will apply it across the nation." That's pretty exciting.
Absolutely. This is extremely exciting as Ron DeSantis expressed that Florida is ready to do more and wants to work with the Department of Homeland Security to approve our immigration plans across the nation. And that brings us, you guys, to the end of our political polls segment. We'll be right back with more CCN right after this.
Imagine rewinding to 2020.
Parents obviously can equip their kid to go to school however they want, but there shouldn't be any coercive mandates.
Local school board members made a firm decision, enforcing mandates that disregarded the voices of concerned parents.
This virus is going after our young children.
The emergency school board meeting in Sarasota dissolved into chaos as the board discussed mandating masks for students, which ultimately passed tonight.
Refusing to back down, thousands gathered at the Hollow, determined to secure exemptions for their kids. With the support of dedicated doctors, they navigated every path to shield their children from mandates. Yet, despite these united efforts, a darker challenge surfaced. Doctors who issued exemptions became targets, some even losing their jobs for standing by their convictions. That's when the decision was made, a bold new vision to create a sanctuary for children's health and a support system for parents' rights. Thus, We the People Health and Wellness Center was born, founded on a mission to serve, to support, and to protect. This vision has since expanded, aligning with the Make America Healthy Again movement and incorporating the most advanced treatment modalities. Additionally, We the People Health and Wellness Center has launched a series of transformative community-based events, each featuring a trusted expert. In December, Dr. Joseph Ladapo spoke about his new book to a packed audience. Next, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny in an intimate lunch and learn. Still to come, Dr. Pierre Corey, Dr. Brian Artis, plus others. The new management, doctors, and staff of We the People Health and Wellness Center stand with you, ensuring that no parent will ever have to face medical tyranny alone again. We are here to empower, to inform, and to support you for a healthier community.
Welcome back to CCN. Here is Kevin Gamble with this week's Faith in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Faith in Focus, everyone. Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered, how did this all begin? The vastness of the universe with its galaxies, planets, and intricate laws sparks awe and curiosity. Today I want to share how the Bible points to a purposeful beginning of the universe, how it aligns with the idea of a creator, and why the precise fine-tuning of our cosmos is so astronomically improbable without intentional design. Let's dive in. The Bible opens with a bold declaration in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This isn't just a poetic statement, it's a claim that the universe has a deliberate origin, initiated by a purposeful, intelligent being, God. The text describes God speaking order into existence, light, sky, land, stars, and life, culminating in humanity, made in His image. Genesis 1:26 through 27, this narrative emphasizes intention. The universe isn't a random accident, but a crafted masterpiece with meaning. The Bible reinforces this throughout. Psalm 19:1 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands." The intricate design of creation points to a purposeful, intelligent design. In John 1:1 through 3, we read, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Through Him all things were made." This connects the act of creation to Jesus, suggesting a personal relationship purpose behind the universe's origin. The Bible consistently portrays a God who creates with intention, not chance, setting the stage for human purpose and relationship with Him. Now let's turn to science. Some assume science and faith are at odds, but many discoveries actually point toward a creator. Consider the Big Bang Theory, widely accepted among cosmologists. It posits that the universe began about 13.8 billion years ago from a singular point exploding into space, time, and matter and energy. This raises a profound question. What caused the Big Bang? Science shows the universe had a beginning, aligning with the Bible's claim of a starting point in the beginning. But a beginning demands a cause. As philosopher William Lane Craig argues, something outside of space, time, and matter, something timeless and powerful, must have initiated it. This sounds remarkably like the God of the Bible. Then there's the second law of thermodynamics, which states that the universe is running down, entropy increasing. If the universe is winding down, it must have been wound up at some point, implying a purposeful start. Even secular scientists like Stephen Hawking acknowledge the universe's beginning raises philosophical questions about a cause. While science doesn't prove God, it provides evidence that makes a creator a reasonable conclusion. The universe's origin isn't just a random event, it suggests a purposeful, intelligent cause behind it all. Perhaps the most striking evidence for a purposeful design is the universe's fine-tuning. The laws of physics are balanced on a razor's edge to allow life to exist. Let's look at a few examples. The gravitational constant, if altered by even 1 part in 10 to the 60th power, that's a 1 with 60 zeros behind it, would prevent stars and planets from forming. The cosmological constant, which governs the universe's expansion, is fine-tuned to 1 part in 10 to the 120th power. If it were slightly different, the universe would either collapse or expand too fast for galaxies to form. These numbers are so precise, it's like hitting a bullseye on a dartboard the size of the observable universe. Physicist Paul Davies has said the odds of the universe beginning life permitting by chance are utterly negligible. Even skeptical scientists like Fred Hoyle remarked that the universe looks like a put-up job, as if someone rigged the numbers. The anthropic principle, acknowledging the universe seems tailored for life, struggles to explain why without invoking a purposeful, intelligent design. Random chance requires an almost infinite number of universes to produce ours, a hypothesis called the multiverse, which is untestable and speculative. The simpler explanation? A purposeful, intelligent designer fine-tuned the universe for life, aligning with the Bible's claim of a creator with intent and purpose. So what does this all mean? The Bible declares a purposeful beginning rooted in God's intentional act of creation. Science supports this with evidence of a universe that began and is governed by precise laws pointing to a cause beyond the material world. And the fine-tuning of the universe is so improbable that it challenges the idea of random chance, making a purposeful, intelligent design the most compelling explanation. This isn't just academic. It means you and I are here for a reason. The universe isn't a cosmic accident, but a stage for purpose, relationship, and meaning. As Colossians 1:16 says, all things were created through Him and for Him. That Him is Jesus, inviting us into a relationship with the Creator. So the next time you gaze at the stars, remember the universe points to a purposeful beginning, and you're a part of that grand design. Thank you, and may you reflect on the wonder of a universe created with purpose. God bless.
Thank you, Kevin, for keeping our faith front and centered this week on CCN.
Well, that's it for us this week on CCN. Make sure you follow Coastal Conservative News on all platforms for all the latest and you never miss a breaking story. And if you have a story you would like for us to cover or would like to just give us, some feedback, which we are always welcome to hear, please message us at contact@coastalconservativenews.com. We will see you right here next week.
That's right, guys. And don't forget to do your civic duty. Let those state legislators know what you feel about them passing a budget here in the state of Florida by making phone calls to our state legislators and to advocate for our values, right? Guys, we'll see you next week, next Friday at 7 p.m. right here on CCN. Until then, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.